Throughout history, the most dangerous people have never raised their voices. They don't come with flashing warnings. They come with charm, with a smile that feels just a little too perfect, with words that sound sincere, but cut deep when you're not looking. They don't need violence. They use manipulation. They don't need chaos. They create quiet control. And the scariest part? They're often the ones closest to us. You've felt it before, haven't you? That strange gut feeling that something was off. The way they twisted your words, made you question your sanity, turned their harm into your guilt. The Stoics taught that wisdom is the ability to see clearly, to strip away illusion and recognize truth. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. In this video, we expose 6 disturbing signs that reveal the truly wicked among us. Subtle clues that most people ignore until it's too late. But you won't ignore them. Not after this. Stay until the end, because the final sign, the most devious of them all, is the one no one ever sees coming. And once you learn to spot it, you'll never look at certain people the same way again. Welcome to Stoic Clarity, where ancient wisdom meets modern survival. Let's begin. Sign number 1. Manipulation masked as kindness. The most dangerous form of manipulation doesn't come wrapped in threats or aggression. It comes disguised in a smile, a helping hand, a favor that seems generous until the price is revealed later. Evil doesn't always announce itself. Often, it shows up dressed as kindness. But it's a kindness with strings attached. Subtle ones. These people will do things for you. They'll offer support, give gifts, even act like they care. But every action is calculated. Every favor is a future bargaining chip. It's not compassion, it's currency. You may hear things like, "After everything I've done for you," or feel the unspoken pressure to repay a debt you never asked for. At first, it feels good. Who doesn't want someone who has your back? But slowly, the warmth turns cold when you say no. When you step outside their control, that's when the mask slips. The smile fades. The tone shifts. They weren't kind because they valued you. They were kind because they needed leverage. This is how the manipulation begins, with false generosity. True kindness asks for nothing in return. It's freely given, quiet, humble. But manipulative kindness is different. It keeps receipts. It waits for the moment it can collect. And when it does, it will twist the narrative. Suddenly, you're ungrateful. You're the problem. The Stoics taught us to judge a person not by their words, but by their patterns. And the pattern here is clear. Control masquerading as compassion. So pay attention. If someone's generosity feels too heavy, if their kindness comes with invisible strings, you're not imagining it. You're being played. And recognizing this is the first step to breaking free. Stay tuned, because the next sign reveals the tactic manipulators use when kindness fails. And it's far more disturbing. Sign 2. There's nothing behind their eyes. Some people walk around wearing perfectly crafted human faces, smiling, laughing, blending in. But if you look closely, you realize something is missing. There's no depth, no soul, no real presence behind the eyes. At first, you might not notice it. They're charming. They say the right things. They mimic empathy, even vulnerability. But spend enough time with them, and the illusion starts to crack. You begin to sense it in moments of silence, when the conversation stops and there's nothing to perform, when their attention drifts, when their face goes blank. It's as if the lights are on, but no one is home. It's not shyness, not introspection. It's emptiness. Evil people often lack the emotional core that binds most of us together. They aren't grounded in real connection, compassion, or conscience. They don't experience guilt like you do. They don't feel regret the same way. And deep down, they don't see others as fully human, only as roles to manage, tools to use, or threats to neutralize. When they look at you, they're not seeing you. They're scanning, calculating, looking for weakness, opportunity, reaction. Everything is about control. Everything is about image. But who they are underneath the mask? It's hollow, detached, often even alien. And you feel it, even if you can't explain it. You feel a chill in their presence. You feel drained after speaking to them. You feel like something vital is missing, and you're not wrong. What's missing is sincerity. What's missing is soul. The Stoics taught that character is revealed in how we act when no one's watching. But with evil people, there is no authentic self to return to when the mask comes off. They are the mask. And the moment it stops serving them, they'll discard it, and you, without hesitation. That's why the moment you stop being useful, you become invisible. That's why when you cry, they blink but don't really see you. That's why when you share your truth, they nod, but their eyes remain empty. Because empathy isn't something you can fake forever. Eventually, people notice the absence of light. So if you're with someone who never truly connects, who wears emotion like a costume, who seems to function like a person, but never quite feels like one, don't ignore that sense of unease. It's not paranoia. It's your intuition trying to protect you from someone who's mastered the performance of being human, but never cared to become one. Sign 3. No guilt, no remorse. Here's something that separates truly dangerous people from the rest: the complete absence of guilt. Most people, even imperfect ones, feel something when they've caused pain. Regret, shame, a need to make amends. They'll lose sleep over harsh words. They'll carry the weight of a mistake. Because empathy doesn't just live in the mind, it lives in the heart. But evil people, they sleep just fine. They can betray you, manipulate you, humiliate you, and the next morning, sip their coffee like nothing happened. No remorse, no reflection, no hesitation. They don't see others as people. They see them as tools. And when those tools break or stop being useful, they discard them without a second thought. And if they do apologize, it's never because they truly feel sorry. It's because they want to shut you up, keep you around, reset the control. Watch their actions, not their words, because their apologies will feel empty. Their tone won't match their story. Their sorry won't come with changed behavior. It comes with a pause, a manipulation, a reset of the game. Evil doesn't always show up with rage or chaos. Sometimes it looks like chilling calm, a complete emotional void, a heart untouched by the hurt it causes. And the most disturbing part, they'll blame you for feeling hurt. Why are you so emotional? It wasn't that serious. You're overreacting. They try to erase your pain. Because if your pain doesn't exist, then they don't have to feel guilty. The Stoics taught us to observe human nature without illusion. Not everyone operates with a conscience. Not everyone feels remorse. And when someone repeatedly causes harm and never feels bad, that's not an accident. That's who they are. And as you'll see in the next sign, that lack of remorse gives them permission to take things even further. Sign 4. Control is their drug. There's one thing evil people crave more than anything else: control. Not love, not connection, not peace, just power. They want to control how you think, how you feel, and eventually, how you see the world. It starts small. Maybe they suggest who you should spend time with, how you should dress, what you should post online. It feels like care, concern, protection, but it's not. It's strategy. Slowly, your world gets smaller. You stop reaching out to friends. You stop making decisions without checking in first. You stop trusting your own voice, because theirs is louder, sharper, always right. That's not a relationship. That's a prison. And the most chilling part? They won't use chains. They use guilt, silence, passive aggression, fear. They make you question yourself until you rely on them for clarity, for approval, for permission. This isn't love. This is domination dressed up as devotion. Stoicism teaches us the highest form of strength is self-control, mastery over oneself, not over others. But evil people flip that principle on its head. They don't build themselves, they feed off others. Off your doubt, off your compliance. And when you show independence, when you draw a boundary or push back, they punish you, withdrawing affection, gaslighting, making you feel like you're the problem, like you're too difficult or too emotional or ungrateful. This is not a bad phase. It's not miscommunication. It's not something that will get better. This is manipulation at its highest form. Control is their drug, and the more you surrender, the more addicted they become. Real love empowers. Real connection respects freedom. So if someone constantly needs the upper hand, if you feel smaller around them, if being yourself feels like a threat to them, that's not love. That's evil wearing a mask of care. And in the next sign, you'll see just how far they'll go to maintain that control, even if it means destroying everything in their path. Sign number 5. They drain you. Have you ever walked away from a conversation and felt completely exhausted? Not just tired, drained. like you were in a battle you didn't even know you were fighting. That's not a coincidence. That's not just drama. That's a tactic. Evil people are emotional vampires. They feed on your energy, your peace, your sanity. They thrive in chaos, and they create it on purpose. It begins subtly. A sarcastic jab here, a passive-aggressive comment there. A joke that cuts deep. A question that makes you doubt yourself. At first, it seems like a rough day, or maybe you're just overthinking. But it builds, because it's never about what was said. It's about the confusion it creates. It's about keeping you emotionally unsteady, always second-guessing. And when you finally react, when you defend yourself, raise your voice, or even break down, they twist it. See? You're overreacting. You're so sensitive. You're always the problem. Now you're not just hurt. You're ashamed for being hurt. That's the trap. Evil people provoke, then pretend to be the victim. They stir the storm, then blame you for the thunder. But here's the truth. Your anxiety isn't random. Your emotional fatigue isn't imaginary. It's the result of subtle, relentless attacks on your mind and spirit. Stoicism teaches us to protect our peace, not just from loud enemies, but from the quiet destroyers. The ones who smile while they sabotage. The ones who hug you with one hand and twist the knife with the other. These people don't want harmony. They want control through confusion. They want you so drained that you can't think straight, because a tired mind is easier to manipulate. But once you recognize this pattern, something changes. You stop internalizing the chaos. You stop blaming yourself. And most importantly, you start walking away. Because true peace is not just about staying calm. It's about choosing who you allow into your energy. Sign 6. They rejoice at the misfortune of others. There's something deeply unsettling about a person who smiles when someone else suffers. You may not catch it at first. It might look like a shrug, a smirk, a casual, that's what they get comment after someone falls on hard times. But pay close attention, because this is one of the most chilling signs of all. They enjoy the downfall of others. When someone loses their job, gets exposed, or goes through a crisis, most people feel empathy, even if they didn't like that person. But not them. Evil people secretly celebrate it, because deep down, someone else's pain makes them feel more powerful. It confirms their belief that the world is cold, unfair, and that they're above it all. They'll never say it out loud, of course. They'll pretend to care. They'll offer a fake, "That's so sad," while hiding a smirk. And when the misfortune happens to someone they envy, they light up inside. That's because their happiness isn't rooted in growth, purpose, or peace. It's rooted in comparison, in dominance. To feel good, they need someone else to be beneath them. To feel powerful, they need someone else to fall. This is the reverse of empathy. It's a twisted kind of fuel, one that burns everything it touches. The Stoics warned us about this kind of soul. Seneca once wrote, "He who envies another confesses his own inferiority." Evil people don't just envy, they feed on envy. They can't celebrate others' wins, and they find comfort in others' pain. Watch for this, because someone who rejoices in misfortune will never support you at your best. They may clap when you fall, but they were never with you to begin with. True character is revealed not in how someone treats you when you're struggling, but how they react when you're succeeding. Evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it's right in front of you, disguised as someone you know well, someone you trust, someone who feels safe. It might show up as a smile, a kind gesture, or words that feel comforting. But deep down, no matter how well it tries to hide, it always shows the same disturbing signs. You might not recognize it at first. Evil doesn't announce itself with warning bells or flashing lights. Instead, it sneaks in quietly, disguised as charm or concern. It thrives on manipulation, emotional control, and subtle tactics to make you question your own reality. You might feel confused or unsettled, wondering if you're overreacting, but if you've seen even 2 or 3 of these signs in someone, don't ignore it. Your intuition is trying to tell you something. Your gut is a powerful tool. It's there to protect you. We live in a world where we're taught to be forgiving, to give others the benefit of the doubt. But some people take advantage of that. They feed off your trust, your kindness, your vulnerability. And before you know it, they've worn down your defenses, leaving you questioning yourself. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your peace, your trust, or your sense of safety if they've shown you signs of toxicity. Protect your peace at all costs. It might mean distancing yourself from someone you once considered close. It might mean setting boundaries that feel uncomfortable at first, but that's okay. Your peace and well-being are worth it. Don't let anyone convince you that your concerns aren't valid, or that you're imagining things. If you feel something is wrong, it's because it probably is. Trust your gut. It's not about being paranoid. It's about listening to the subtle messages your body and mind are sending. When something feels off, it's not a coincidence. You're not being too sensitive, you're being intuitive. That inner voice is there to guide you through the chaos and keep you safe from people who seek to harm you. And remember this, evil only wins when you don't believe what your soul is telling you. When you dismiss the warning signs, when you ignore the red flags, that's when evil gets the upper hand. But when you stand firm in your boundaries, when you trust yourself, you regain control. You protect your peace, and you take back your power. If this video opened your eyes to something you hadn't seen before, or if it made you think twice about someone in your life, drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. Share your experiences, your thoughts, and how you protect your peace. You're not alone in this. Together, we can create a community where we support one another in recognizing the signs and standing strong in the face of evil.